recording now.
Ready.
Here we are on another episode of Unbuttoned. We've got the abundant soul,
Yes.
Claire.
Thank you. So good to be here
Yeah.
in this well set up studio.
Well, I had all the equipment, so I was like, you got to do it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And your episode 33.
I like that. That's cool spiritual numbers. So I'm in.
Is it? Is it?
The double threes. Well, the triple threes are even better.
Oh, that was
But, just invite me back
oh,
when you're at 333.
333.
I'll
Done.
be on.
All right. We'll plan that. Hopefully, I'll get you back sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 222.
111.
Even better.
What's the significance in the triple numbers?
Oh, they're angel numbers. So they're supposed to be, if you see synchronistic numbers in your life appearing, don't know if you've had that happen to you, but often if you're on a particular path, then certain numbers will appear and they're called angel numbers. So the triple one's supposed to be you're on the right track. Other numbers are like you're being guided. Yeah. So they all have different meanings. I'm not super down with all of that, as in I don't know all of the meanings, but I definitely have numbers that appear in my life when I'm on the right track.
Right. I saw you did a tarot card reading with Emily Walters.
I did. Well, we did a breath work followed by a tarot. Yes.
Oh, I'm going to have to get you to read my tarot cards.
Look, I don't necessarily,
Not today.
serve them up. Yeah, we should have done it.
Yeah.
Wonder what would have come up for you.
Bro, I got a lot of things going on.
Maybe you could have got some answers through those cards.
I'm trying to read the signs that my mate is telling me.
Yes. He spoke about that.
Yeah, Christian. So he's been sending me signs and talking to me like for the last 6 months.
Yep.
And kind of really helping direct me to do particular things.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Then that's what you need.
Yeah, and look, so 6 months after he passed away is when the word surrender came into my life, and surrender for me is about surrendering to whatever the universe throws at you and being open to receive whatever advice or things that, fall into my path. And, so that's kind of what's been going on.
I love that. That's one of my favourite words this year. Something I've been leaning into, and it's bloody hard.
It's fucked up because, like, every time I hear that word, I'm like, what are you telling me? I just start questioning everything.
Then you're not surrendering. It's like, I can't surrender.
I know. And I'm like, God damn, you're on my TikTok feed. Or like I'm seeing an Instagram reel. Or like it'll come up like on a movie or something. And I'm like, bro, what?
I know.
What?
It's so crazy. Once you tap into this stuff,
Yeah.
it's really bizarre how many times it comes up. I had exactly the same. I had a friend pass away last year who I knew through the community that I'm in with the breath work.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually...
I'll get you to pull the microphone closer to you and like just down. Yeah, that's it there. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And his numbers are 444.
Right.
And man, I see those numbers all the time. Just when things are going a certain direction in my life, or I'll even think about him and the numbers will come up on a car registration plate in front of me or something random. It's like really crazy. Or on a plane, it was like on a plane number or a train number. It's been coming up in really crazy places. So yeah, people connect with you through these different ways, and they'll be specific to you and you'll recognize them. It's crazy. It's cool. I love it. I love all this stuff.
Were you always into this?
I feel like I've always been a highly sensitive. So there's something called a HSP, which is a highly sensitive person, and very much empaths fall into that realm. Hello, empath. Nice to meet you. And
let me just feel you.
Yes, with my frequency. So
that's another word.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
What are your words?
Yeah. Well, no, I resonate.
Yes.
with frequencies
Oh, wow.
often. And I read people's frequencies and
Yeah. Well, that's very common for a highly sensitive
mm,
empath. They're more tuned into people's energy and vibration. So
mm,
when you're an empath, it takes a long time, I think, or it's taken me a long time to practice between disempowering myself and giving that energy away far too easily through relationships or connections or whatever, or it even be energetically,
mm,
and learning to have boundaries with that. And I think highly sensitives they're very much in tune with they can pick up on the tiniest things. It could be people's expressions in their faces or just something they're giving off. You could be in a room full of people and they can feel the energy of the room or the person even before they speak or act or do anything. And then often they're very in tune with environments. So you can go sometimes into somewhere, I don't know, that may have had something happen in a room and you're picking up on the frequency of that. So it can be really hard to be in this world and be a HSP because you are picking up on so much stuff. And it's like being in this energetic soup all the time.
Yeah, I think probably only in the last 5 years have I fine-tuned or being more aware of the ability.
Yep.
And so also with that, understanding how I can almost turn it off.
Yes.
Because I used to, when I first became aware of it, I used to really struggle going into places with lots of people. It's just way too much. And I'd get really tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I worked out how to just ignore it and turn that sensory bit off. But it's it's a strange ability to try to work out how to use it to your advantage.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it's got so many advantages. And probably what makes you a good podcaster and someone who does the work that you do, right? Because you probably find it quite easy to bond with people, to read their energy, to pick up on what it is maybe when they feel uncomfortable or when they're feeling, tapped in or whatever. And you can just pick up on those subtle cues, if you like, through your senses. And I find that people that are HSPs, their qualities are that they work really well with others if they can hone their own energy and manage to just rein it in when they need to or lean in when they need to. So it's a beautiful skill to have, I think. It's great for connections.
It is great for connections, I think, which is, and I agree, which is why I love doing podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be your superpower because you'd be able to read people and then that makes people feel at ease because you'll be able to take little social cues and mirror those and do all those kinds of things, these skills that we have as empaths to be able to mirror other people. And yeah, it's cool.
Would you believe pre-18 years old, I was the complete opposite?
Oh, as in in what way?
As in shy, timid, not confident at all, and didn't really know where I fit in. I mean, sometimes I still don't know where I fit in, but anyway, that's another story. But
I don't think that shocks me at all. In that it's very common for empaths we're so switched on to other people's feelings and emotions. Often it's overwhelming. And so it can be, or we can be very influenced by other people and we can pick up on things that don't feel great. So if someone's doing something to you and you're really feeling that bad energy coming at you, that can completely make you shut down and not want to be around people. We just spoke earlier about how I have my little cocoon moments where I just want to be a hermit and I just need to be away from people so I can just recharge my own energy. And the more I learn to manage my own energy, the better that's becoming. But we all need our little space to just go inside and reboot.
Do a factory reset.
Find the button. Press it. Yeah.
So tell us more about what you do.
It's very left field, I guess.
Yeah.
I think some people know about it. So I'm a breathwork facilitator and transformation coach. So It has two different kind of layers, I suppose, where the transformation side is what I call top-down therapy. So you're helping people to manage their thoughts and emotions. So I work a lot with people who have a tendency to get in their own way. I believe we should all be living our joy, like tapping into our purpose and living a heart-led life instead of living a life through a massive trauma response, you know, like living out your existence in this fear-based paradigm, which a lot of us do. And I did for a long time. So I was living very much in an outside. It was all about what was on that outside. It was about the cars, the money, the house, the holidays, the clothes, the partner. And I had it all at one point. And then I had a massive tower moment because I just felt so empty inside. I was very misaligned in my life. So that led me towards this work, which is, this top-down therapy is looking at your emotions, your thoughts, and how that creates your reality. So what are your perceptions that you've grown up with from your beliefs? And your beliefs lead to your thoughts to your emotions to your actions, and your actions to your reality. So you're really living from a lens of your own beliefs every day. And depending on what they are is how your reality appears to you. So we all have examples. I'll give you one for example. If I believe, and I grew up in a family where a man was always unfaithful, and I have the vow or the belief that all men are cheaters, I'm going to grow up with that lens that I look through. And then something called your reticular activating system. I know.
Fuck, I didn't realise that we'd be talking about sprinklers.
Your sprinkler is out there scanning, looking for the evidence to find that all men are cheats. So we live through our own belief. We have that belief, all men are cheaters. This activating system that we have in our brain is there scanning the environment, filtering out all the information according to our beliefs, and finding the evidence to prove ourselves right, because we have such massive egos, right? We want to be right. So
the ego plays a massive part.
Huge. But we have to learn to live with it. A lot of people try to get rid of their ego, but we have to learn to work with the ego.
Yeah, you have to learn how to manage it.
Yeah.
Recognize what's an ego-driven thing versus not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's coming from the unhealthy ego compared to healthy ego. And we need the ego to initiate change normally. It helps us to do things. But so that's part of the work, the top-down work. And I help people rewire their brains. So I help them to, you've heard of like neuroplasticity?
Yes.
So it's kind of like neuroscience, where I help people to connect different neurons in their brain to carry out different actions where perhaps they've been self-sabotaging or procrastinating. So I do things like habit hacking, which is like a little technique we use to, I know, it's so cool. Can you imagine living with me? Heavy.
No.
Be manipulating your mind.
Yeah. Hang on. So you're basically like biohacking people's bodies with their like knowledge, and helping them do that.
Yeah.
To like break habits.
Absolutely.
Or like form new habits.
Correct.
Do you use like hypnotherapy for that?
Not at all.
No.
No.
So how do you do that?
Well, you have to find out what lights someone up.
Right.
So you have effortless energy when you're doing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
You just do it naturally.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
What do you hate doing?
Cardio.
Okay. All right. So you have...
Fucking hate cardio.
Okay, cool.
Cardio sucks
All
balls.
Right. So it takes a lot for you to do cardio compared to sitting down doing a podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of your energy goes into podcasts. That's where you have effortless energy. We call it effortless potential.
Yeah.
So when you're firing your potential towards podcasts, you're on the go.
Yeah.
When you have to do it for cardio, you're going to self-sabotage, procrastinate, get in your own way, you know all the things.
Yeah.
So by finding out what you love, if you love podcasts, and if you're going for a goal, we want to actually link that goal to you getting more opportunities to run podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically saying if you go for this goal and running podcasts, by going for this goal, it gives you even more gain in having podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
You will go for it much more easily. You'll go for the goal a lot more easier than if you didn't have that thing driving you.
Mm.
So we find out what gives you a gain in your life, all the things that you love. And then we think of a goal that you're going for. And we say doing this goal gives you even more of the things that you love. Because we don't do things easily that we don't like.
I see no goal in cardio.
Yeah, so,
I just see sore knees.
so yeah, we would sack cardio off.
Yeah.
And we would attach your goal to the things that you enjoy and that light you up in life, because you have effortless energy there.
Yeah.
And if you can create lots of links in your brain to the things that you love and a goal, you'll start doing it without even thinking about it. It's really weird.
I think I'm already doing some of the things that you mentioned because I know that if I enjoy the process,
Yeah.
I'll keep doing something.
Yeah.
And the output is just like a side benefit because I enjoy this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and like learning about people and having in-depth, topics to talk about and like learning new stuff.
Yeah.
And the editing side of things and the podcast upload and what people see on social media is just like an output of that.
Yes.
And I think for myself, it's like I will lean into loving the process of doing something, and it's almost like the output then shows this like true authenticity about how much I love it.
Yeah.
And people will resonate with that.
Yeah.
Like when I started doing the interviews with models, like after a photo shoot, I was getting like heaps of feedback from people all across Australia.
Wow.
Saying, this is amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. And I was like, sweet, like, like it's a little bit of fun. Like I'm laughing at myself. And they're like, no. Like we get to see the characters behind the photos. And I'm like, yes, you do. And one person in Perth was like, they're actually just everyday normal people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, exactly, they are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that also feeds you something, that whole process. So that I call this shadow values. So we also have values that aren't all love and light. They're not all they are, but we also have something called a shadow value. So for example, if you love that feedback from people, you may actually secretly love validation or adoration. We don't go around going, oh, please validate me, everyone adore me. We were never going to tell people that because it's a shadow aspect where we don't really want people to know about our shadow values. But they could be things like control or superiority. So people do actually love being in control and love being superior. Normally people that learn things, they actually like to be superior because they want to know more. So they have this shadow value of superiority, and you may have a shadow value of validation where you really like to be validated. And if we don't work with those values, or if we do work with them, they can become a superpower. So we can link our goal to getting more of our shadow value. So the more I do podcasts, the more validation I get. The more I do podcasts, the more adoration I get. And actually, I like those things, even though I don't want to admit it. It actually is part of me.
Why wouldn't I want to admit it?
Well, I think some people struggle to say that they love to be controlling, or they love to be adored, or they love to be superior. It's sort of words that are a little bit icky.
They're confronting.
Yes.
They're confronting words because what you're essentially doing is you're like taking accountability over what you like.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's really hard.
It is. Especially if you're saying, please adore me. Like that's not what people are used to saying. We normally say, oh, I don't want the attention, or, oh, no, I'm free. Like someone who loves freedom and values freedom, always control freaks, guaranteed.
Really?
Yeah, guaranteed. Well, because they have to control everything to feel free. So normally people that really value freedom actually secretly have control issues.
Right.
Yeah. Is that your cat?
No, that's the automatic biscuit feeder.
Right.
We'll see a cat like run past any second. Yeah, there he is.
Okay.
Usually the black and white ones because Larry because he was the first cat. He like owns everything.
Right.
So when Maxie comes along, if Maxie gets there first,
Yeah.
he's like frantically trying to eat because as Larry gets there, stop eating, buddy. This is my food.
Larry has a shadow value of control.
Yeah. He's alpha cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were being raided, so Blaze is just the cat.
Raided by the bikies that were trying to get evicted down the street.
Oh, okay.
Bro, like they've broken so many rules. Anyway.
They have a shadow value of rebelliousness.
Yeah. I mean, driving down the wrong way, down the like laneway, you know, not giving a hoot about anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't say any more about that.
We won't. You don't want to.
Just in case they don't listen.
Correct.
I mean, just in case they do listen to
Yeah.
this. Okay, so that's real interesting. And the breath work.
Yes.
How did you get into doing the breath work?
Well, that was through my own personal experience. So that's more what we call bottom-up therapy. So it's body work in that we're using the wisdom of the body rather than the mind. So I did my first breathwork journey, oh my God, before COVID. Yeah, quite a while back.
4 years ago.
Yeah, with my mentors who are now the people I trained with. And at the time, there were a couple of Kiwis. They now live in LA. But they came to Melbourne to run a breathwork session and I went along and I just thought I was going to be meditating. I was like, this is going to be cool. I'm just going to lay back, have a little sleep, you know, maybe have some epiphanies or two, you know, whatever. And they started describing how when you go into breathwork, we're going to be doing something called conscious connected breathing, which is really deep diaphragmatic breathing, which some people may have heard of Wim Hof. It's kind of like doing very deep breath for 40 minutes nonstop. So you're really oxygenating the blood, but you're also changing your flow state. So you're changing your brainwave frequency, you're changing your vagus nerve response, and you're going into like a stress response and then into like what's called your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. So you're completing these emotional loops with the breath. So there's a lot going on. It's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and energetic. And I went into this breath work and I didn't realize also that when you do breath work, you release something called DMT into the blood, which is what you get when you do mushrooms.
Fuck.
So I was having this full on, like, I guess what would be described as a psychedelic experience.
Wow.
And it was pretty insane. Like the visions I had and the experience I had was very out of body. I thought I was floating at one stage. I was seeing geometric colors. I was getting lots of messages coming through. And everyone has a different experience depending on the intention that you go into the breathwork journey with. But it started my curiosity about what was this I just experienced. My whole body was vibrating. I couldn't feel a lot. I couldn't feel my limbs at all, like my legs or arms. I was crying. I was remembering some experiences I'd had in my life and I was resolving them at the same time. So I was releasing a lot of suppressed energy and stuck energy that was in my body and a lot of stuck trauma that was in the body and the wounds, I guess, that I had experienced in my life. And I was releasing a lot of emotion that I hadn't ever processed before and I was holding on to. So then became my curiosity around breathwork and what that can offer. And it's been unfolding. I did a full 9 months coaching with my mentors who actually then I found out were running a facilitator training program. I have very limited numbers. They're only running 3 of these programs ever. So I was actually in one of the last facilitator trainings with them and they're incredible. Like these people, my mentor Lucas, he's worked with Travis Barker, who obviously was in a plane crash, couldn't get into planes, couldn't fly, had a massive fear around, you know, plane accidents, and he actually coached him back into flying again through breath work. It's very powerful. You can access a lot of the subconscious mind and reprogram the brain and the body to feel safe and to step into lots of different power, I guess, your internal power. So, yeah, it's amazing. It has a number of benefits.
I'm fascinated and scared.
So am I.
As to what would be uncovered.
Yeah.
Like, was it really confronting from like realizing that you had all of this stuff like
Yeah.
suppressed?
Yeah. I mean, I was really scared when I first went to that breathwork session and they were explaining what was going to happen. I honestly started to freak out. I almost had a panic attack there on the spot. Because at that time, I'd only just really, I was delving into all this kind of stuff, but not at this level. And I'm probably someone that's run away from my emotions a lot, even though I didn't realize it. I'm quite avoidant. So yes, when I did my training, we were doing a deep breathwork journey every other week for over an hour. And I was doing like 200 hours of study. So going into it, you never know what's going to come up, but you get what you need. So when you're going into the experience, it's really important to have a good facilitator. I mean, I'm trauma informed. So I went through a lot of trauma informed training.
What does trauma informed mean?
It means we know how to help people who have gone through really traumatic experiences and support them.
Right.
So with breathwork, if you're working with someone who's experienced a lot of trauma, you're not going to take them straight into a really deep breathwork journey because, look, we're opening up the psyche. We're working at very different deep levels within the mind, body, mind system. And there is a massive element of responsibility as a facilitator to make sure that person's safe. And so you need to understand trauma, big trauma, little trauma, stress responses, coping mechanisms, addiction, all of this kind of stuff. You need a good basic understanding of how to titrate the work, as means slow it down as required. Because if that person has had a lot of trauma, say we feel like Travis Barker, right? So you would have to really titrate his sessions and spread them out over a long period of time. Because if we just took that person straight into a deep journey, they could experience too much, too fast, too soon.
It's kind of like this may be a really bad analogy, but like opening the valve of a hose. If you open it too fast, too quickly, like that hose is going to
Exactly right.
go like that and it's going to be uncontrollable, whereas you want like a steady flow so that you can then open a little bit more, and then...
Perfect analogy. It's very much a case of, everyone has a history, right? So when I work with someone one-to-one, I'm really getting to know them first. If they're going into a deep journey with me, there is background questions that I ask to make sure that I understand my client really well. And then I can work out how to facilitate that session. But you can work with people with trauma. I could be working with a creative who wants to actually unlock some creative flow. So that's another area you can work in. You can work in human optimization. So from a health perspective, again, my mentors, they work with Jake Paul, who's an MMA fighter, and they get in the ring with him before a fight and they help him to visualize winning the fight. So he is living, breathing, doing it in his mind. He knows how he's executing every move. So it's super powerful. It's really fucking cool. I love it.
Who do you think? No, that's okay. Who do you think's going to win, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
I'm going to go with Jake.
Do you think he's going to knock out Tyson? Fuck.
I would hope so because my mentor's working with him and that would just be rad.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in for Jake Paul.
Yeah. You didn't strike me as a boxing person.
I'm not massive, but I'm interested from the breathwork perspective.
Yeah.
Because I think I've seen him win his fights after having had this coaching and yeah, he nails it. And they know exactly, they almost like predict to the point where they know which round he's going to take his partner out.
It sounds, like as I said, I'm fascinated by your whole approach being top down, bottom up, and then really kind of like connecting on multiple levels. And
yeah, it's cool. I love my work. It's something I'm so passionate about because I believe that we have the ability to have these superhuman abilities. I've certainly refined a lot of my intuition and tapped into what I would say is things that I've never tapped into before.
Why?
Why am I tapping into them?
Why did you not tap into them before?
Oh, so unconscious. I was just being led by my ego. I was being totally led by fear in my relationships, in my work, so I wasn't having deep, fulfilling relationships because I was just living in a massive stress response. So, yeah.
What were you doing before this?
Oh, I was a cosmetic tattooist.
Oh,
So yeah, I would sit with people for hours and talk to them about their life.
yeah.
So I would sit with predominantly, obviously, women. And that's when I really started getting interesting and thinking, we're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
We've all got the same shit going on.
Yeah.
It's all a different story.
Yeah.
But behind all of that is the same stuff.
Deep down, it's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like just a different, either a different part of the story, like a different phase, or like different actors or characters. But like, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just weird now. I look at life in a really different way. So challenges that come up, I know that that's just teaching me something I need to learn about myself even more. So I'm interested in being challenged. I'm like, why isn't this working? And how am I responding to it? How am I reacting to it? And how is that not serving me and holding me back? How is that stopping me from loving more deeply or receiving love more deeply? It's honestly, it's like a big cosmic joke. I just see everything that happens to me now and go, oh yeah.
It's a big cosmic joke. I actually like that. I like the fact that you're taking like a humorous side to it, and like because it means that you can like interpret things in a much calmer way.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're anxious, or from my point of view, I think if you're anxious or if you're like upset or like angry all the time, it's very hard to like decipher things in your mind.
Yeah.
And if you're humor is a great like technique to be able to accept and like be able to read things and understand things very well.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
love it.
And you also don't like take things like personally as well. You see like the funny side to things.
Yeah. And I love to have a good sense of humor. Like I love to have a laugh.
Mm.
It's so important. And it's something that I haven't even allowed myself to do. There's some things I haven't allowed myself to have, which is laughter and also anger. I've always sort of almost suppressed anger, which is another thing I think, you know, especially for men. It's like anger is bad, but anger isn't bad. Anger is still an emotion. It's still something we need to feel. And to say that all we can feel is happiness and positivity is shit. That's not the way life is. Toxic positivity is really dangerous. But laughter, deep laughter, and being able to find the funny side and the value in everything you're going through is a massive plus. And it's not that we have to, like, I don't believe in suppressing or pushing away challenging times at all. I think we just have to really fully just understand what it is that is being challenged in us. And that's when you can get so much value. And you just, your vibration changes, your frequency changes. And this is something I've been really playing with, is energy. And understanding where is my energy at and how does that stop me from excelling in my life to the best possible, in the best possible way. And then attracting in the people that at that point in my life are really going to help to elevate my life and get more out of it. And it's weird the way once you start leaning into it, like since I've started leaning into my work even more and not being ashamed to talk about energy and frequency and vibration and entities and whatever it is I want to talk about in this world, quantum physics, you know, all of this stuff and timelines and dimensions. Like I love all this shit.
I've been having conversations about quantum physics with my special friend.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just fascinating.
It is.
And like the energy and the vibration and like frequencies, and
you can play with it.
I think once you acknowledge that it's there and you try to understand it more, it can open up your mind and your eyes to lots of different things.
Yeah. Well, it opens up opportunity. And they even say that now there's neurons in the heart, that it's actually the heart that has these neurons in them, and the neurons are like little antennas, and they are actually communicating with the field around you. And then the way that that's communicated with what you're creating through the heart then is responded to through the mind. Rather than us being brain-led, the heart is the thing that's running the ship, not the mind, not the brain. So it's really fascinating. There's so much new evidence coming out now by the Heart Math Institute that really look into this. It's fucking cool.
It's always this what's the word? This challenge between thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
And do you go with like a logical, like decision-making process, or do you go with feelings and intuitions that are very subjective and don't have black and white, like absolutes?
Yeah.
It's a continuous flow, this ebb and flow of, you know, your surroundings, the people that you interact with, the conversations, like, and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah. And I think the important thing to remember is it doesn't have to be this or that. It's about, and this is the whole point, it's about what's called heart-mind coherence. And you can actually become coherent through the heart and mind. And actually breath work is a, portal to get heart-brain coherence. So you can use the breath to bring them together. So you are learning to use your subtle senses and to understand what those are, to pick up on frequencies and vibrations and where things are leading you and what's being magnetized towards you, and then using your logic to execute it and using the mind to execute that and act on it and manifest it, right, through action or aligned action. So you're feeling into the heart, you're feeling into the intuition, and you're not letting the logical mind, and this is where you have to catch yourself, is like, where am I self-sabotaging myself and getting in my own way through my beliefs and through my fears that have led me to believe I can only have this or that. And learning to bring them together and step out of your own way, step out of the fear, learn how to recognize when you're in that fear mindset and actually really move into the heart and go, if I can move that fear aside, I could really go towards this goal. And like you would have done that with launching the podcast, right? There would have been all these reasons why you shouldn't do it. That if you went in with that logical mind and that fear and thought about all the reasons why you shouldn't, you never would have done it. But you tapped into the heart and you were like, actually, I'm going to lean in.
Yeah, I for a long time, probably about 15 years, I worked out that I'm really good at being thrown into ambiguous situations and just working shit out.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, that's probably one skill that I'm really confident in.
Yeah.
And so whenever I start something new, I'm like, I'll just like work it out as I go.
Yeah.
You know, trial and error.
Yeah.
And I know that I learn through doing stuff. And so like with photography, self-taught, like I just work stuff out.
Yeah.
And, you know, 11 years on, like, you know, I'm at where I'm at. But yeah, like it's just kind of this ability to go, you know what, like I can work stuff out because I can sense things. I can feel my way through things and read people and work out what I like and what I don't like. But then with the stuff that I don't like, just still push through it. Like running the podcast, I hate editing because I have to listen to myself. Which I've gotten better at because I'm like, you know what? That's just how I sound. Like,
that's it.
Completely fine.
And
like
if you let that get in the way, you never would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I know that when I listen to myself, like that's what other people hear me as, even though my brain goes, no, you don't sound like that. You should sound like something else. You know? Yeah.
And that's a perfect example. You just said, I know that I have the ability to figure shit out. I can do it. So there's your belief. I will figure this out. There's the belief. So therefore your belief creates your reality of like, it doesn't matter what people throw at you. You believe I can figure this out. So you will become a great problem solver no matter what people throw at you. You're like, I believe I can get the answer. And you do. And that serves you and you follow it. So there's an example of a belief working in your favor. That creates this resilience in you to see it through. If you believe you can't figure it out or you don't know how or you'll never be something or another, if you tell yourself those thoughts, you will become that. Unequivocally, it's going to happen. So if we can master our ability to get past those blocks, those beliefs that tell us we can't, or we're not good enough, or we don't know enough, or we're not pretty enough, or we don't sound good enough, whatever that is.
I'm definitely not pretty enough.
That's what you think. It's a lovely bun you've got there, though.
I think I need a haircut.
Nah.
No, I think I definitely need a trim. But yeah.
It's just, again, your belief creates your reality. And, you know, you did all of this because you believed you could. And so you manifest it. It's so simple, but people miss the mark. And you can create anything you want. You just have to know how to take the baby steps towards it and get past yourself.
Yeah. And I think also there's also a part in being decisive.
Yeah.
And understanding what you like and what you don't like, or like what you like plus adding in what you enjoy doing to then add value to whatever your purpose is.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why I started this was because I wanted to shift the focus from me onto my guest.
Yeah.
And really have an in-depth conversation about my guest. And then sometimes, you know, it turns around and they ask me questions, and that's completely fine.
Yeah.
But it is about, it's about you, and it's about showing what you do, because I think, because I've met so many interesting people in all walks of life that I think other people should know about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and through this process, I'm getting even more opportunities to meet even more people. Like, people are requesting to come on my podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa.
It's so cool.
I still think I don't know what I'm doing.
Clearly you do. So that's a bonus.
Look, it is a bonus, but I think the fact that I keep saying I don't know what I'm doing is like me, I guess, like controlling my ego and being humble about the fact that like anybody can do this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And if they wanted to, they could.
Yeah.
And if they found joy in it, they might. I think the sad part is that there's so many people out there doing things that they don't love. And that is sad. It's like, that for me is crushing. I think it's so, you know, sad when you see these amazing qualities in people and you know how talented they are and they're not using it. And that to me is the saddest thing in the world, is to live a life where you have the ability to create something amazing. And we're all creators. And, you know, people's creation looks very different. Some people create because they're an accountant, and some people create because they're an artist. So we're all creating something, and we all have these amazing gifts that we bring. And to actually bring that into life and to manifest it and to do it, I think that's what we're here to do. I just couldn't imagine spending a life, and it doesn't matter how hard this is. You know, people look at me and go, I know how to breathe. No one needs to be told how to breathe. You're like, yeah, well done. but you know.
You would get that a lot.
Yeah, I put
I
was doing breath work at the beach, and I put like a sign up, and there was this group of guys that walked past going, oh, that's it, we're going to learn how to breathe. And like, I could sit and I could be crushed and go, I'm never doing this again. Listen to what they just said. I'm being judged. And like I have a massive fear of judgment. So that's something I've had to work through.
That's real interesting, Claire.
I know. It's my biggest fear.
Really?
Yeah. I know,
being
even
judged.
Being like, I cannot even look in that direction. So like, I'm not even going to look at that camera staring at me.
You can look at that one, or you can look at this
I'm not
one.
looking either. I'm just like, oh.
Just look at me.
Yeah, that's
Just
what I'm doing. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm like, I can't even look in that direction. But yeah, there's always something you need to get past in yourself. And, you know, when you can move through that and with a lot of kindness for yourself, you really start to get momentum.
So what did you do with this in this experience down at the beach with this group of guys? Like, how did you work through that?
I just didn't even worry about it. I can acknowledge it was there. I could acknowledge it's a bit like, oh, that hurt a bit. But I'm like, I'm on a mission here. I can either do this and follow my mission, my purpose, Like, you have your purpose, right? You wanna see other people shine and share their message, and that's really important to you. Probably there'll be something else underneath that for you that it feeds.
Mm.
And it's like, for me, I have things underneath what I'm doing that it's feeding now, and it's not about me anymore. It's actually not about me. It's about me serving people to reach their greatest potential, and I have to show the way. So if I'm not doing that in my life, if I'm listening to those voices outside or inside of me that are telling me I'm not enough, then I'm denying the ability to show other people that they can do it too. So the more I get in my own way, the more I stop showing people that they can do it. Because like you said, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
And when you realize you've worked through those blocks, you can show other people too. That's fucking cool.
I think what you said about yourself actually rings true to me as well. Like, I'm serving my guests and I'm hearing their stories and acknowledging what amazing feats or things that they've done in their life. And this is a very healing and cathartic, like, process and environment to go through.
Yeah.
Because right now we have no distractions.
Yeah.
This is just me and you having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's a very focused conversation because, one, we got headphones on, you can hear me and I can hear you and all of that. And we're not on our phones.
Yeah.
Like, no one can talk to us. It's just us.
Yeah,
and
that's
in this world of technology and notifications and like busyness, like when other than, because I was thinking about this the other day, other than going to the movies and sitting down and watching a movie at the cinema, there's probably no other time other than when you're asleep, when you're not bombarded with lots of different things.
Yeah, right. And it comes back, I think, to this is what life is about. You're right. We're so distracted with so much stuff. AI, tech, phones, stress.
I mean, I love it, but then I also love what this brings as well.
And you'll probably love it because maybe it's like something you wish you had in your life, was somebody listening to you, hearing, acknowledging you, seeing you.
Are you trying to make me cry?
No, but I'd love to. And I'll fully support you in it. I might even come and give you a hug.
Am I doing it for that? Look, possibly because of that piece around growing up overseas, always moving around, never having one set group of friends, always having to make new friends like everywhere we went, and then moving to Perth and going through, actually, no, it started before Perth, but being a third culture kid, mixed race, living in a country that, we weren't originally from, and racism kind of started really early.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know where I fit in, even with our original, like, my parents' nationalities.
Yeah.
Like, didn't really fit in anywhere because we were so different, and I was so different to my brother and my sister.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, I didn't really know where I fit.
Yeah.
And then when we moved to Perth, all I wanted to do was move back to Singapore, but I couldn't. And then, like all the stuff in Perth happened. And then when I moved here in 2001, like, it was like, shit, like, okay, this is a real opportunity for me to, like, just take control and do stuff that I wanted to do. And, I think probably only into my late 30s did I really start to, like, solidify me.
Yeah.
And what I'm about. And,
And that's the thing, is like, I think I say your mess is your message. So for you, belonging was really important.
Yeah.
The need to belong.
Yeah.
the need to belong in a family, the need to belong in a community. And so for you, making sure other people feel like they belong will be a really important thing to you, because it's something you needed and you wanted as a child and growing up, and you never got. And then you had to realize that actually I create my own belonging. I belong to me. And here you are creating your very own belonging. It's like, here is your little thing where you allow and invite other people and give permission to other people to belong also. It's like, you matter. I can see you, and you get to come here and share your voice and express yourself and show other people why you belong to. And that's probably because you never got that, and that was never invited forward for you. So it's a really nice way of seeing where in your life you had these influences and maybe didn't have an opportunity to be what you wanted to be at the time. Now you create an environment where you allow other people to be seen, which is really fucking awesome. And it gives you the impact. Let's take a breath.
Fucking hell, you're really trying to make me cry.
Yeah. It's full on. Oh, I'm going to move my mic and give you a hug in a minute.
Fucking hell.
And then you know you've hit something, right? It's powerful. I've got a bloody great big mic in front of me. I can't even come and give you a squeeze. Give you an energetic cuddle.
Holy shit. I did not think I was going to be doing that on today's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
Yeah. Well, that reaction, I think when people let the emotion come through, it's because it hits you where it really matters. And it's good for you to recognize where you give other people the stage. Because it was something that you may have needed.
Fucking hell, I need to fucking get a tissue.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. God. Oh.
Take 5. Oh, don't leave me here alone with the camera. Anyway, everyone, folks, we're just going to let Andrew get a tissue.
Holy
Okay, he's back.
Toledo, Batman.
There you go.
I think if anything, is this conversation is just really bringing up feelings about my mate.
Yeah. Yeah. In what kind of way?
Oh God. Just in terms of like the friendship that I had with him, and like, yeah.
So the meaning of you felt like you really belonged with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure like a lot of your closest relationships will be the ones that, fully accepted you as you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have this effect on people.
Oh, shit.
If people don't cry around me, I don't feel like I've done my thing.
Wow.
And I'm celebrating you right now, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like just having that friendship with him and knowing that he always had my back and I always had his back, and 24 years is a long time.
Yeah. And he still has your back because he's still behind you showing you the way.
I know that motherfucker.
Yeah. Which is fucking cool, because I think people do still have us. Like I call them our love army. There's people in your love army that even when they pass over to the other side, if you can open your awareness to feeling them, and he would want to be doing that for you because you've had that strong energetic connection, he would absolutely be wanting to have your back and still be fighting your corner
All right,
on
let's.
the other side. You're like, stop already.
Oh God.
I love
Yeah.
this for you though, because this makes your reason for doing this. So this is your thing. It's your jam. And you just said you've had this massive calling to go forward in this interview process, right? And this is what's so beautiful about discovering someone's soul-led, heart-led journey, is that it's not about the dollars. It's not about the money. It's about you fulfilling a mission. And when you are on a path of fulfilling a mission in your life, nothing can fucking stop you. If you can tap into that, and it's funny, you said something earlier about emotions.
Okay, I'm back.
You're going back. You've got this, man.
Yeah.
You've got this.
I totally got this.
You do.
Yeah.
It's so important to do something in your life where the emotion's leading. And you said about, what is this? Do I lead from my heart or my head? We spoke about this. You said about this earlier. How do I know whether to lead from the head or the heart? I think when you allow yourself to lead from the heart, that's like, it's cool as fuck. And nothing can stop you when you're leading from the heart.
Yeah.
It's too powerful. It's way more powerful than the mind and just thinking things through. It becomes like a whole different level of what you're tapping into.
Yeah, and I think feeling your way through things and doing things with purpose and depth just brings more like authenticity to what you do, even to like just the way that you live your life, you know? And like if you can wake up each morning and feel like you're making a difference in your life and other people's lives, you know, and you're just spreading support and love and, you know, all of that, then that's a really good feeling.
It is. It sounds cliche.
Yeah, it totally sounds cliche.
But you'll know from what, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you feel like you could just change one person's life by them listening to this, then you'd be like, I'm fucking made. That's me done. I love the fact that I can do that for other people.
100%.
Yeah.
It's if the one person that I can make a difference to is my guest, because I get them to talk about themselves, and realize what an amazing life or an amazing feat that they've been able to achieve, or that they're still going through things and that, you know, don't give up. Like, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I don't care how many people view the video or listen to the podcast, because I get to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, that's it.
You know.
And the person on the other end, like for me, to have someone invite you in, to have a voice, even if it's a really freaky voice and you're like, I do weird shit, and for someone to go, but I have a space for you to deliver that. And it gives other people the permission to come forward no matter what their life is about and share their story. And giving that permission slip to other people is a super powerful thing to do for them, and is a beautiful thing to do for people, because it's saying, I see you and you matter and your shit matters. And even if no one's given you this platform, I'm going to give it to you. And I think that's a really powerful thing that you do for people that I know I appreciate and want to say thank you for, because to get my message out there is not easy. You know it. You're just a one-person band, right? You might have all these gifts and abilities that don't really get recognized sometimes when you don't have a ton of following, or that, you know, someone that you've worked with that's famous or whatever. It's you can start to question your abilities to change people's lives, and you don't realize you're working with everyday people and you're making a massive impact on them, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's like, I do acknowledge it because of the feedback that I get.
Yeah.
But it's not my like sole purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like I think because I've like lived in lots of places and I've had to learn how to communicate and talk to lots of different types of people, like through that process, I've learnt so much about human behavior and met so many interesting people, you know, their life stories or whatnot. And it's, like it's just amazing. And so that's what I love. I love storytelling. I love listening and all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's such an awesome thing. And I know that when I sit with someone in breath work and I witness them letting go of something that's just fucking held them back like a ball and chain their whole life. You know, if they've experienced bullying or sexual abuse or they've been in a domestic violence situation or, you know, not even that. Like it doesn't really, I always say that it doesn't matter if as a child, one child could be in an abusive, have an abusive, you know, memory. Perhaps they've experienced something that's been really traumatic at home. And another child had an emotionally avoidant parent, for example, that maybe just didn't give them the attention or the love. This child that's experienced the abuse, their belief might be, I am unlovable and I am unworthy. And then this child over here that's had the emotional neglect has the same belief, I am unlovable and I am unworthy. A lot of people say to me, oh, but I didn't have a traumatic childhood. So how can I, you know, how can I feel so powerless or unlovable or unworthy? And I'm like, it doesn't matter what the event is, it's the perception of it. If you come out of that event believing that you are not enough and you are not lovable, you will grow up with that belief, no matter what the experience is that you see that through, that you had that through. And this is where perspective is so important and understanding that whatever happened to you in your childhood, if you perceived that a certain way and you grow up with that belief, that's the way you're going to feel. So, you know, everyone has normally experienced something in their life that has led them to have particular beliefs about themselves. And if you can crush those beliefs and let them go, and I love witnessing that in breath work when people do finally allow themselves to feel. And I love it when men do breath work because that's just a whole nother level of, to me, like
you know we can breathe though, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Powerfully. And yeah, I love seeing guys go through that release and actually lead the way to show other men that it's okay to have emotions. Because men, they just don't have the support network. It's very rare to find a friend in a male circle that can sit with you in all of you. And I think for men, it's very unusual to have that male to male relationship where someone is able to hold all that space for you. So your relationship with your, you know, your friend that's passed, you know, he held that for you. And it's so unheard of. So I think for me, having men coming into a breathwork experience, I fucking dig it. And I have full respect for any man that steps into that space. And recently I held a breathwork and there was a 19-year-old and a guy who would have been in his 50s. And I remember at the start, and Jordan, my partner, who you've had on here, he was videoing it all and everything. And he, you know, I knew he thought that this guy wasn't going to have let himself go, you know, be able to let himself go in the experience. And I'm like, just wait a minute, let's just see what happens. And as we went into the experience, the 19-year-old was fully in it. And the guy who was in his 50s, he, you know, by the end of it, he was bawling and he was just allowing all of this emotion to come out. And I have so much respect for men that can allow themselves to go there because it's been made to be such a taboo for a guy to release their emotions and feel into that and feel all of that. And yeah, I love working with men. I think it's super powerful.
What was your childhood like?
Look, on paper, really awesome. I did. I had a great child, I had great parents.
Yeah.
I have great parents.
Yeah.
But I definitely came out with my own wounds. Like my mum is massive. Like she just hates confrontation. You know, she was very scared of judgment, scared of what other people think. Typical English, you know, what will the neighbours say? You know, I heard that a lot growing up. And funny, even going back home, you know, my dad's now 80 and he has Parkinson's with Lewy body dementia. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah, that's been crushing. to go home and see him last year, and he can't travel anymore. So, you know, we packed up our family home. And I think being around my parents, I have a massive appreciation for them. And although there's definitely things I've had to work through from my childhood, I have a lot of love and respect for my mum and dad. And it's just funny going back home, because even my dad, when I went back home, me and my sister were laughing really loudly one night. He went, shush, people will hear you. So stop laughing so loudly. And I had this real thing with having fun, you know, like it was really hard for me to let go and laugh and have a giggle and not be so serious about life, because my dad was so serious about life.
What did he do for work? Was he?
He was an engineer. So he was an electronic engineer. He was a car racer in his younger days. He did motor racing, but he gave that up because he had kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's very risky. You know, he got into a couple of big smashes, and my mum was like, that's it, you're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think seeing my dad now as someone who, you know, has probably come to the end of being able to pursue a lot more now because of the limitations of his illness. It's become even more important for me to live out my life as fully as I can and be pushed to all of my edges. I don't want to get to, my biggest fear is getting to being old or having some form of, I guess, illness where I feel like I can't pursue the things I really wish I had. So
and like having regrets of why didn't I do that, or why didn't I do this?
Yeah. So poor Jordan has to listen to me every day going, we've got to get out there. We've got to fucking, you know, like, don't let that hold you back. Just jump in. Let's go. Like
We'll talk about Jordan.
Shall we?
Yes. The love of your life.
Yeah, he is.
Because does he struggle with the fact that you're like, yeah, let's get out there, or?
Not so much now. He's starting to come around.
Yeah, okay.
Poor fucker. He says to me, if I'd have met you 5 years ago, I'd have run for the hills.
He's a very gentle soul.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sensitive.
Yeah, he is sensitive.
Yeah, he's a sensitive soul. He's very creative.
Yeah.
As you are. But I love watching him step into his power now. He's starting to own his shit.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
It's good to see.
Yeah, I think his latest trip, coming back from Bali, I saw a completely different Jordan.
Oh no, he was zen.
Yeah,
Zen Jordan. He needs to live over there. That's his home. But yeah, he was very different. He's been through a lot, and again, I just see someone with so much talent, and I just want to go, just fucking come on, let's fucking go.
Slap him around a little bit.
Yeah, but he's on his own journey.
How did you meet him?
So I met through an ex-friend.
Okay, yes,
and yeah, we met through, he did some design work for me, and it was a really gradual evolving. It started off as a friendship, and we both went through divorces, and then after that we sort of found each other, and it kind of just grew very slowly. But yeah, I don't even know when we started. Like, everyone says, so when did you get together? How long have you guys been together? I'm like,
so
I just don't know.
You don't know your anniversary date?
No. So that he can get off the hook with that one. Doesn't have to worry about it. There's no chance of missing it. I don't know when it fucking is. It's like, whatevs. No.
Does he remember your birthday?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's all over that stuff.
Yeah.
He's better than me.
Really?
Yeah, he puts me to shame. But yeah.
It's because you're too busy dealing with other people's like breath work and transformation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I try not to meddle, you know, like, I think Jordan is just really coming into realizing his talent. And yeah, I really think he's an epic human. He's got good people around him, but he's like everyone, he's got his own gifts, and it takes time for you to step into that. I'm not going to push him. I'm also not going to hold myself back. So I will very much move into what I need to do. And if he's coming along, awesome, like, great. But I've been very much someone to constantly pedestal other people and then not really focus on me. And I've let myself fade into the background. So now I'm trying to just step forward and do my own shit. And, you know, I fully support what he does. It's been challenging, definitely, you know, seeing your partner work with models and, you know, semi-nude, suggested nudity, that hit me in the feels. Because, you know,
how did you go about dealing with that?
Loving myself more.
Yeah.
It was all about me. Like, why don't I think I'm worthy of being as important or as beautiful as what his models are? So yeah, that was a journey into myself. It's nothing to do with him. He does what he does and I love his work. I would never want him to stop doing what he does because he loves it. And I can see that. And if I thought I stopped him from doing that, that would break my heart. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want someone stopping me from doing what I'm doing. And I know, like, likewise, he struggles with me, you know, doing my work and working with men even. So, yeah, I think that's taught me to love myself in places.
You know he wants to take photos of you, though.
Yeah.
So what's the issue?
What do you mean?
What's you mentioned like struggling with the fact that he works with so many beautiful people,
Yeah.
you know, models and all this type of stuff. But I know he thinks very highly of you.
He does. Yeah.
And he's, you know, taking photos of you, and he thinks that you are the same, if not higher caliber than the people that he works with.
Yeah, he does. And he tells me that a lot. And I know that he goes on shoots and talks about me because normally about 5 minutes into a shoot with a woman, they start following me on Instagram. So he makes me feel very secure. And he, you know, that's something we've worked on through our communication. Like, what do I need through this process? And he's always really respected that. He stays in communication. I know where he's going on his shoots. He always shows me who it's with. And you know, and as you, right, that everyone has a story. You think someone's something behind a lens, and then you get to know the person, and then they're normally such a different person than what you have in your mind, and it blows you away. It's like people watching your podcasts and your interviews with your models. You somehow paint this picture of somebody. You think they're like all confident and out there and they love who they are. And then you find out that these people are really struggling with some things. And I think I've just learned not to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, that's a skill that you have to keep developing and keep in check.
Yeah.
I think because of the fact that, you know, like most people only let you see them what they want you to see.
Yeah.
And not, like, you know, get a little bit deeper into who they actually are. And so, you know, I think for me it is a lot about and I know, look, like with my photography and like all that type of stuff, like I'm not afraid to get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Right. And just be an idiot with like my poses, like messing with my hair.
You do it so well.
Yeah. You know, like I see the comical side to it all,
Yeah.
and I get a lot of enjoyment out of making people laugh.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, you know, being myself online, like, is exactly what you're going to get when you meet me in person.
Yeah.
If not exactly the same, you're going to get more.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like all of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's it.
And so, yeah, like people will judge what I look like.
Yeah.
Or they'll judge, you know, oh, he's got long hair and he's got tattoos and he must be a certain way and like all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you get to know me, you're like, oh, you're actually not like that.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
It's really taught me to just don't be so fucking judgy. Like,
Yeah.
truly. And
Judge
I
Judy.
did. Yeah, I did judge people, and I have judged women.
Mm.
And I think women do that to other women a lot,
Mm.
more so than men. Like, women judge women more than men. And
That's because there's a lot of pressure on women
yeah,
to like be a certain way,
there is.
or like have this image of, you know, what you know,
Yeah. It's likewise with men, right? It's the same with guys. They have to feel like they have to be a certain way to be a real guy. And, you know, I don't know, I may speak for other women here, but I love guys that can tap into their emotions. Like, to me, that's the ultimate sign of masculinity for me. If a guy is emotional and can understand their emotional side, that's way more attractive than a guy that's just going getting jacked in a gym and trying to look good, or, you know, and being so, you know, and I see that as like, I can see like maybe a level of insecurity there of someone not loving themselves so much. So It's the same for a woman. I just think I've learned to see these women as people and not and say it where if I did judge them, and I definitely don't anymore. I've got very much a deeper understanding, God, because I'm not judging in a sense of like being bitchy. I don't think I have that in me, but I would more judge myself. So it wasn't me judging them, it was me judging me. So I would look at the women and see the beauty and the sexiness and the way they just love their bodies and they move their bodies, and I'd be like, fuck, I want to be like that. I want to love myself that much. But then realizing that sometimes the women don't love themselves that much. And so, yeah, it was really about where I was judging myself and how much acceptance I had to move into for me, more than me judging who they were or looking down on them. I don't really look down on them. I would look down on me.
Yeah, and I think it's about really kind of like being critical on yourself based on what you see.
Totally.
And you start questioning, why aren't I like that? Or how can I be more like this? Or, and things like that. But the reality is that like everyone's a limited edition.
Yeah. Yep.
All you need to be is yourself.
Yep. So
and
true.
If you love yourself and love who you are, then what will be, and you'll attract the right types of people.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's been a real journey.
Authenticity in a world of, like ego and imagery and social media and like all of that, it's actually really hard to be authentic and not do things just for the sake of doing things.
Yep.
You do things for yourself and like just be happy with, like the things that you do. And I think, like I'm seeing more and more of it, but I'm seeing a lot of like copycats and people kind of like stealing stuff or like using your name, for their own purpose, blah, 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 like all that type of stuff.
That's right.
And so I'm very much, I guess I'm kind of like in this phase of authenticity, and my purpose is to help people be more authentic and realize their own potential in what they can bring and what they do. And
people have way more to offer than I think even they realize. And I think that is like giving that message when people are sat here telling their story, they start to maybe realize that they have that ability to offer a perspective that other people don't understand about them. Perhaps they've overlooked or misunderstood.
I also get, though, that it's sometimes hard for them to acknowledge that. Because when you're in the moment doing things, it's very hard to detach yourself and look at what you're doing.
Yes.
Like the third eye kind of like looking down.
Yeah, and just be the observer.
Yeah, be the observer whilst you're kind of like doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would, I would imagine that there'd be women, I don't know, I started to realize that we do sometimes do things because we are really scared and frightened. And we have this appearance of like, so many people say to me, but I would never think you'd have a problem being on camera and you always look so confident. And it's like, yeah, but it takes practice.
It fucking takes practice.
Yeah.
You got to get the reps in.
That's right. You got to go and do the cardio. No, strength.
Yes, no, you have to do the cardio. You definitely have to do the cardio. The more you do the cardio, the easier it gets.
That's right, apparently.
But I fucking sweat like a bitch.
I'm not a fan of cardio.
But you have to do the reps to gain the experience, to gain the confidence, to then be able to make a difference in either what you're doing or what you believe in, or make a difference in what other people see.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid of just like doing stuff.
Yeah. And it's like stepping into that place where it feels super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you think, what are people going to say if I do this shit? And if I start talking about energy and frequency, are some people going to turn off? And yeah, they probably are. And that's cool. And that's okay. And I think the more you step into your own little empowerment, your own little being aligned with who you truly are, You just do. You just get the people around you that you need in that time, and you attract the people that are going to support you and also give you tough love when you need it, you know, tell you when you're maybe not being the best version of you. And I love having people around me that aren't frightened to say to me, Claire, come on, man, you're not really stepping into your real authentic self here. You need to like check yourself. And I'm like, thank you.
Who would tell you that?
Jordan. No. He does.
Truth bomb.
He can.
Can
and he
he?
does. And
Does
I
he
need
say
it.
that?
Well, yeah, sometimes I need to pull my head fully in. And when he
Wow.
says it, I'm like, yeah, I needed that. Because I know that I'm being a disempowered version of me. And so there are definitely times when I'm not the Claire that's sitting here that's being super confident, and I'll doubt myself and
Right.
fall in a heap and say, what value do I bring? I have those days. Everybody has those days.
Yeah.
I don't always I don't always wake up every day thinking, yeah, own the day. Like I don't wake up like that. I have to shift my state. I have to get into my vibe. And for me, it actually, truly, I have to really learn to come into like check myself on a daily basis.
How do you do that?
With my practices,
Mm.
with moving my body, you know, visualizing what I want, being grateful, being present. It sounds so cliche, but I am not someone that wakes up in the mornings with a spring in my step. That's just not me.
What star sign are you?
Pisces.
Oh, okay.
You are as well, aren't you?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
you're not?
No, I'm Sagittarius.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you were Pisces. But yeah, I'm not someone that, like, it's not my natural state.
Right.
It's definitely something I have to work on. And I think that's why I understand when people don't always wake up and see everything glowy every morning. And I think it's not human to be waking up every day feeling like you're kicking goals all the time.
Yeah. But happiness is definitely a choice.
100%.
And you can adjust your mood based on particular practices, and then change how your day's going to go completely.
Totally. And like I say, I think like everybody else, you know, we have doubts and we have fear. And, you know, if I said I woke up every day feeling like $1 million, I'm not being real. It's not authentic. I don't wake up every day feeling, often I do, but often I don't. And
you wake up every day feeling like $2 million.
That's right, yeah. Woo. Toxic positivity, let's go. and that's the shit that gets us into trouble, right? This is the Instagram life of like, every day is a blessing and I feel like I'm flying, and it's not reality, people. Let's get real.
There's these two guys in the UK. They've got a podcast, Shits and Gigs, and they were saying the other day, they were like, oh, it just like pisses me off, these influencers that do these day in the life like videos.
Yeah.
And like, and they were saying, imagine going out with one of them. They're like, everywhere they go, they've got this like tripod and they're like camera, and they're like walk across the road. They put the tripod there and they walk back across the road, and then they're like walk to the tripod, and there's like all of this, and then they have to like clip it all together. You basically have to do everything twice.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true.
Yeah. It is. And I love this meme that I saw. It's this guy that did this video and he's filming himself. He's like doing the video, and he goes, I fully love and accept myself. I am powerful and I am beautiful. And then he brings it down and plays it back, and he goes, ooh, fat pig. And I just love the realism of that. Like Insta life versus real life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm just trying to say is that, yeah, I'm not waking up super happy every day. I'm not miserable, but I'm not like waking up going, yeah, like let's go every day. I do wake up and some days I'm challenged, and some days I feel down, and some days I feel loads of self-doubt and loads of fear, and sometimes I'm really scared. And sometimes I'm really elated and in a great mood and I'm ready to go. But I do know that every day I'm not going to wake up a 10 out of 10. And if I don't wake up a 10 out of 10, I know what to do to move myself into a place where I'm like, I'm good to go. And I'm coming at it from a balanced place. Because, yeah, that is real life. That is the way it is.
And I think it's about knowing what oh my God, the cat here. It's about knowing what approach to take, but then being disciplined with taking it.
100%.
Because it's a discipline that'll help you get through what you're going through to be able to then serve your purpose to the people that you work with and to Jordan
Absolutely.
and like to yourself.
Yeah. If I didn't know how to work through resistance, which is what I help people with, if I didn't face that all the time and know how to move through those spaces, what kind of coach am I? If I'm just going to breeze through life and find it all easy, I'm never going to know how to take someone from A to B and go, you're going to experience self-doubt, fear, self-loathing, judgment, limiting beliefs, trapped emotions, conflicting values. If I don't know how to experience that and take myself through that, I'm a shit coach. I'm no good to anybody. So I have to move through those goalposts all the time. And at the moment, something I'm really playing with, like I said, is this energy, is this using my breathwork practices to really visualize the person I want to be every day. And I'm noticing I'm taking steps and doing things that are way outside my comfort zone normally that I never would have done before. But I feel the resistance of it every time. It's probably like when you come to do an edit, you feel the resistance of it and then you move through it. And it's like if you didn't know how to move through that resistance, well, you wouldn't launch the podcast and get it out there. And it's the same in life. I know how to move through my resistance and recognize where that's coming from and how to overcome it, and then teach people how to do the same thing. So, it's about not living the Instagram life. My page is, you'll see me crying on it. You'll see me laughing on it. You'll see me having doubt on it and talking about real life situations that I face all the time because it's raw, vulnerable and real. And that's what I feel like we should be. That's what you do with this. You show people the real side of people. And that's what we need to see more of so that we know that we're normal and that's not weird.
And that's also why, like, I'll take BTS videos of me doing poses or like I'll take self-portraits of myself. Like 2 years ago, I went and did a boudoir shoot.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah, like I got it was an art nude model that was taking up photography in Adelaide. And I was going to Adelaide and I said, I'd like for you to take my photos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I went through all the same emotions of like, what people would go through when they come and see me. So it's just this, like my desire of acknowledging and understanding what people would go through would then help me guide them through how to come to a shoot and do the things that I'm asking them to do.
Yeah, that is so cool because I think photographers don't really understand the blocks.
Correct.
And then when you see a photo back, you go, oh my God, that thing there and my bum and this and that and the other. And you're looking at all the parts of you that you don't really love. And so often the photographers, if they get offended by that, you're like, well, how would you go in front of the lens, And then they're super paranoid and they don't like having their picture taken. And you're like, hello, that's exactly what I'm going through.
Exactly. And so, like I think in whatever profession you're in, you have to go through the exact same thing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then it gives you a better appreciation of what you're asking your clients or the people that you work with to go through.
Totally.
And it makes you more relatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then you can have conversations about it.
Yeah.
And like I get the exact same response when I tell people that I went and got a boudoir shoot. Yeah.
Something there.
Yeah. And boudoir shoots are like massive in the US.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah. And so if anything, like photographers need to get in front of the camera.
Yeah. I agree.
And either talk about their day or like take photos of themselves.
Yep.
Like learn how to take self-portraits.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hang on. Oh no, that's fine.
You're good.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah, like learn how to take self-portraits.
Yeah.
Because if you got the camera gear, then you
Yeah.
should be using it.
100%. And you're so right. And I couldn't agree more. It's like me teaching breath work and never doing breath work.
Yeah.
Or me teaching how to get through resistance but not knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
What a load of BS. If you like I said, I've been through the divorce. I've been through having no sexual chemistry with my partner. Like I
Yeah.
know what that feels like.
Yeah, me too.
To be in that space where you're clashing with someone or there's fights and it's verbally abusive and you know, or you're experiencing massive self-doubt in your career or your financial status or whatever it is. It's about me living a lived experience and then playing with it and saying, how did I get through that? And then learning the tools that supported me and do still support me to get through those things.
Yeah, and developing new tools
Yep.
as well. Like it's a journey of understanding how you can fully enhance the things that you do to meet your purpose, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing I love with the breath work. It's just, and it's another layer. It's another tool to tap into, and it doesn't have to be a big process. You can do the big therapeutic journeys and go on that, and that's great. You know, it's awesome. But if you just sit down for 15 minutes a day and tap into your breath, there's so much evidence now to support the advantages of using breath work for, you know, so many different things in your life that are coming up as being really powerful. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And you're like a cold plunge fan, aren't you? You were doing that for a while.
Yeah, I need to get back into it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Cold plunges, again, it's like super hard. But like once you start doing it,
Yeah,
you just keep doing it.
yeah,
And I've mentioned this on another podcast that I did, but I think it was Andrew Huberman. He was talking about there's a space in the brain that they've studied, and they acknowledge that it's the part that controls your fear in doing things, in doing stressful things.
yeah,
And if you keep doing those stressful things, that space gets smaller.
right.
So the act of doing those stressful things repetitively feeds your ability to do it more.
Yeah. Well, expands your resilience and your tolerance.
Correct.
Yeah. Your tolerance gets greater. And then by you learning how to manage your stress by going in a cold plunge. And it's when you take control of the body over the mind. So the body is experiencing a trauma and you tap into that and you start to breathe. You know, we use the breath in cold plunge, right? As to just slow down the breath, to go from the stress response that it wants to go into, the fight or flight. It wants to get out. It's like, I need to fucking go. And then through the breath, you're doing the slow breathing. So you're bringing it into the rest, the parasympathetic, so that it's like you can stay. You're going to be safe. Everything's all right. And that risk and tolerance expansion, like that can make you unstoppable.
Your balls really like go up into your stomach though.
Thanks for letting me know.
It's really fucking cold.
Oh man, I did a cold plunge not so long ago, and the first one I just breezed through it. The second one was super difficult.
How long did you go for?
2 minutes.
3?
2.
Oh, 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the second time I'd done it. The first one was a minute. The second one was 2 minutes. But I did know that at that point, and this is super important to note as well, is that for a woman, like if our cortisol levels are really high, it's really bad for our hormonal, you know, health as well. So sometimes stressing ourselves even more, and even at the gym, can be actually counterproductive for us too. So it's learning all this stuff. It's interesting.
I think I started in like 3 minutes, but then I got to like 7 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nah.
My balls were blue.
Thanks for letting me know. Well, at least they're still working. That's the main thing.
100%. So what do you have planned for the rest of 2024?
Oh, I got lots of juicy things happening. So
anything exclusive that you can share?
Yeah. I mean, actually today I met with a cellist because
A what?
someone that plays the cello.
Oh,
Yeah. You're like,
I'm like, a cellist. I was like trying to work out what tool that was.
What is that? because I'd really love to do breath work to really immersive sound. So
Wow.
I think that would be next level to experience an amazing. She's played for a symphony orchestra. And so we're talking about producing a sound frequency through breath work, which will be fucking cool. So if she works with me, because she doesn't know a lot about breath work she does know about breath work. She's deeply meditated, but she understands frequency and energy. So I'm loving this chick already because we're talking about making sure the sound and delivery of the sound is perfect for a breathwork journey because it does affect what you release. So that would be epic. We're talking at the moment. And I ran my first retreat in Bali, a women's retreat called The Remembering with my friend Emily, who you know. She does human design. Not a lot of people know what that is. I'm not going to explain it well, so I won't even try.
She's designing humans.
Yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Emily.
Yeah, well done, Em. I'm teaching people to breathe and she's designing humans. That's what we do. She's like one of my besties. She's fucking cool.
Yeah.
We're running another retreat at the end of the year.
Hey.
So that'd be fun. We do that on a little island off of Bali because I'm not a fan of mainland.
Right.
It's all about, getting away from the crowds for me. But yeah, that's cool. That's coming up. And something I'm working on at the moment is I really want to get into the corporate space and with creatives, so musicians, artists, people who are really trying to I want to work with human optimization, like really optimizing the human experience and using breath work to really help power people up. So I'm going to be launching a bit of a course of breath work and coaching practices where people come on board with me for a number of months, probably 4 to 6 months. And we're really working on opening up their creation, their intuition, expanding them internally and setting them up to be what I call superhuman, but from the inside. So tapping into your own technology. And yeah, I'm kind of super interested in
tapping into your own chromosomes.
Yeah, getting into that DNA, man.
To release these superhuman bionic powers.
We don't need chips. Thanks.
Chips.
Elon Musk.
Oh, Neuralink.
Yeah, we don't need Neuralink.
No?
I'm teaching people to tap into their own Neuralink. Fuck the chips. We're going inward.
Fuck the chips.
Imagine if Elon heard me say that.
Wow,
Maybe
I'll
he
tag
will.
him. I'll tag him.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Fuck the chips.
But you know the first human trial was a quadriplegic and he played a computer game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, without the chip, he couldn't play the computer game.
Sucks to be him without the chip. So, I know.
I think it is interesting, the emergence of this new technology comes a great responsibility.
Yeah.
And that responsibility is using it for good and not evil.
Yeah, I think
and there's
a lot of risk.
Yeah, the risk is that people will use it for evil and they'll do it in a way that is deceptive and covert and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're using it for good, then and you're open about that, then it's just about advancing, the race.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
I guess I've been able to see through people that I've come across in my journey where we really haven't tapped into the power that we hold.
Yeah.
And there is a whole nother layer to the human experience that I just think we're just starting to realize. And I think this will be where the separation goes, is that there will be people who are super into the tech and they'll be like, I'm down for the chip, let's get it in. And there'll also be those who are down for expanding their own human optimization.
Well, that is the zeitgeist, right? There will be people that are down for the chip and they will expect you to have the chip to then be able to interact with society. And if you don't have the chip, you can't interact with society.
Yeah.
And so it's this whole kind of
I'll be the person out in the field with the little community waiting for it all to go wrong.
it could be the combination of the both.
Yeah.
Of like, imagine superhumans with chips.
Yeah, nah. I'm not down for the chip.
No,
No way.
The Marvel superheroes.
Nah.
No?
I'm nah. I've seen what's happened to Dolly the sheep. I'm not down for that.
Did Dolly came out with an extra ear or
No,
something?
Dolly was cloned. Dolly was the sheep that was cloned,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And Dolly had a good time for a while. She had
Yeah.
6 little babies and all was well. And then
All mini dollies.
yeah, and then Dolly came to a very early demise. And then so have all the future cloned animals.
Oh,
They've died very young. And yeah, lots has happened. So I don't know. This is a big conversation. Hey, this is a whole new podcast. But,
it is a
yeah.
whole new podcast.
Yeah, I think we have a lot to offer. I think we're going to need to protect humanity. And there's a lot to protect. And there's a lot that I think we don't know and we don't realise we're capable of. And I think through my mentors, watching Lucas and Hella, who are my mentors in breathwork, I've seen them manifest an incredible life. And they are super tapped in. And I would describe them as superhuman. And they've done it all through their own inner work. So high-fiving that. I'm on that team.
It sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah. I'm down.
How can people find you?
People can find me through Instagram mainly.
You need to look at that camera.
People can find me. You can find me through Instagram. So I fucking hate it. I've got to look at you. I can't. Here come my insecurities. On the.abundant.soul. So the abundant soul, but it has a dot in between each word.
Yeah.
Because I've got the people out there that are doing the other accounts.
Got it. I'll have it like come up.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having my back.
I got your back, Claire. I got your back. Well, thank you so much for coming
You're
along.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
So episode 33, this
Yeah.
is the first one that I cried on.
Yay. Are you going to have that as like the hook line? I think you should. Claire breaks the man behind them.
Wow,
mic.
breaks the... I don't know if you broke the man. I think you just like highlighted something that,
Nah.
you know, but yeah.
Opened.
Yeah. Well, I'm a pretty open person anyway. So
Right.
I think, yeah, just this conversation was,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Thank you for having me
Yeah.
in all my weird and wonderful ways.
Amazing. Well,
Appreciate you.
I'll definitely have you on later on in the year, see how the
Yeah.
year's gone
Yes.
and with all the things that you've got going on. And yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate you.
amazing.
Lots of love.
Amazing. Thanks everyone for listening in. Make sure you hit subscribe and that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you.